It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you this year's honorary degree recipient and guest speaker, Mayor Cherelle L. Parker. Cherelle Parker is the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia. Born to a single teenage mother and raised by her grandparents, James and Dorothy Parker, Mayor Parker is a Philadelphia native. It was the power of a village, her family and her community, and their belief in the power of education that gave her the opportunity to succeed. A graduate of Philadelphia Public Schools, Mayor Parker was the first person in her family to go to college, earning her bachelor's degree from Lincoln University, where she became a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, then earning her master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. After receiving her undergraduate degree, she taught public school as a high school English teacher and ESL teacher working with immigrant children and adults. Inspired to public service by Philadelphia Councilwoman Marian Tasco, whom she interned for, the future mayor worked in Tasco's office and rose to serve as a senior staffer, where she oversaw, among many other things, the implementation of all economic and community development initiatives that helped neighborhoods and business corridors thrive. By the time she left, she was one of Councilwoman Tasco's most trusted advisors. The future mayor was elected to the State House and served for 10 years, representing Northwest Philadelphia, the 200th district. On winning her election, she made history as the youngest African-American woman elected to the state legislature. In Harrisburg, her colleagues elected her to chair the Philadelphia delegation, and her leadership in this role earned her a reputation as one of the most effective legislators in Harrisburg. She was elected to City Council in 2015 to represent the 9th Council District, and by 2019 was elected by her peers to serve as City Council Majority Leader. In the 2023 mayoral election, Cherelle L. Parker won a highly contested Democratic primary and general election to become the 100th mayor of Philadelphia and the first woman to hold the office. A mom, a teacher, and a strong, experienced leader, Cherelle L. Parker is the first Black woman mayor of Philadelphia, seeking to create a safer, cleaner, greener city with access to economic opportunity for all. Mayor Parker spends her time outside the office at home in Northwest Philadelphia with her son Langston and their dog Max. Would Mayor Parker and Chair of Moore's Board of Trustees, Francis Graham, please join me at the podium? Mayor Parker, you are truly an inspiring leader, and it is an honor and a joy to have you with us today. Congratulations. By virtue of the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer on you, Cherelle L. Parker, the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, and declare that your name is forever on the college's roll of honorary members. And now, Mayor Parker.
I'm going to move this over and I'll keep the page. Now to everyone who is seated here in the audience, don't you dare tell anyone how heavy Philadelphia's mayor travels. I had about 5 things that I needed to bring up here with me, and just in case you see me using it, someone's going to ask, is that really a fan, and is it because of the lights? Don't you dare laugh. The mayor's 51 years old, and sometimes I need a fan. I want you all to know that it is more than an honor and a privilege for me to be here on today. To President Young and Dean Thomas, to Board of Managers Chair Arthur Block, and to Trustee Chair Francis Graham, and all members of the Moore community, thank you so very much on today for this honor. And Kathy, I want you to know this, Madam President. There was one thing you said in my introduction that means more to me than anything that you could ever imagine. That is identifying that I am the first generation college graduate in the history of my family. And to you, class of 2024, people are going to ask you how you define yourselves. They may ask me, how do you define the Moore class of 2024? And you know, I'm a nicknamer. I have a nickname for everything. And so when they say, Cherelle, who are they? Who is the Moore class of 2024? I'll simply say, they are the resilient ones. You, each and every one of you, represents the kind of grit, passion, and resilience that is symbolic of what it means to survive, grow, and thrive right here in the city of Philadelphia. I want to make a bit of a confession because I think this is essential. President Young, you will remember this. I may have told this to my good friend Joan Stern. The first time I had actually visited your campus to see what actually happens here, it was either 2022 or in 2023. When I thought about Moore, the only thing I could think about, quite frankly, was fine arts. So Van Gogh and Picasso, like that is what immediately came to mind. It was only after the tour when I thought I knew about the kind of instruction that was occurring here. And you also need to know that your mayor is a visual learner. And because I'm in politics, I'm jaded. I don't believe what people say. I have to go see what they do. And so when I came here on my tour and I visited classes that were studying animation and the game arts, fine arts, of course, the art education, the graphic design, the illustration, the interior design, the photography and digital arts, and probably, and I'm biased here wherever they are, I want to see them, the fashion design majors. Are they here? I was like really super excited. And so when I left, I went home to tell my son, whose name is Langston. You get why his name is Langston. I'm an English teacher. I went to Lincoln University. Langston Hughes, you all get it. You made the connection. What's important is that my son plays a game that you all may have heard of. Now, I don't want you, especially for members of the village, and I'm going to get to you all in a second. The game that he plays, to me, now I know I'm 51, but it doesn't make as much sense as the games I used to play. And the most significant game that I ever played before when I was growing up was called Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man made all of the sense in the world. You eat all of the dots on the screen, you work to get the high score, you get to put your initials there, and someone has to come and play behind you and demonstrate their proficiency in clearing the boards. Well, this game that my son plays is called Roblox. This game doesn't make any sense at all. He plays Roblox and then he needs Robux. Robux, listen to what you pay for. I put a quarter in the machine that I learned to master and I could play it for a half an hour. He needs Robux to buy outfits and gear for avatars. So being a very logical, reasonable mother that I am, I say to my son, Langston, instead of playing Roblox, why don't you learn to build your own game, create your own game? And after he gave me a look that basically said, go kick rocks, I told him about what I saw in the animation and game arts classes that I had a chance to visit. I also talked to him about some movies, and I was actually watching the folks who would be behind the scenes, bringing art, theater, and culture and cinema to life. But you wouldn't know it if you hadn't done what I did and taken a tour to learn how magical this place called Moore really is and what a gem you are here in the city of Philadelphia. Give yourselves in this institution a huge round of applause. The magic of Moore. To the faculty, I said when you all were walking in the processional, and I was waiting downstairs for you with these shoes on, I felt your energy. The students who are here today, and I'm talking about in institutions of higher learning across the world, the most powerful and influential people on campus are those who have the great responsibility of shaping the minds of the critical thinkers and the creative geniuses of the future, and none of it becomes possible without the instruction that they provide. Now, I want to acknowledge, I heard when they said, call the faculty, give them a huge round of applause. I said to myself, when the students were staying up all night long and pulling all-nighters to get their assignments in, I bet they weren't giving them a huge round of applause then. Listen, they are what I call the caretakers of minds. And I'm actually going to turn around, and I want you all to stand and give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. It's important. And to the village who is present, this is important too. As I listened to President Young in my introduction, she used the term village. That is not a coincidence that for those of you who are here, you don't often hear me simply refer, especially when I'm talking about graduates, to speak about parents. Because when I think about my own life's trajectory, none of it would have been possible without the support of my village. And my aunt would later tell me that what I was experiencing in my own life was the power of my bloodline and the power of my love line. And your love line is a network of people who end up playing a significant role in your life. And they're like the supporting cast. And sometimes they can become even more dominant than even some of your biological family. But it is the full wholeness and the oneness of the network that says to you, that says to us, you don't have to walk like, talk like, think like, act like, be like anybody else in the world. other than yourself. And when those negative self-doubting demons, the negative self-fulfilling prophecy gets into your mind, and I don't care who you are, how strong you are, how smart you are, you will try to do something at some time in your life, and you will get in your own head. And you hope the strength of your village can help you when you are along your personal journey to self-discovery and meeting an academic milestone like the one that you have achieved on today. So for those of you who are here, who are in the audience, if it's being streamed and someone's watching, thank you so very much for contributing what you could to make this magic at Moore happen here on today. Give a round of applause to the village. So, although the mayor was late in finding out the magic that takes place here at Moore, you joined the likes of Elaine Rawlinson, the first woman to design a postage stamp, Jessie Wilcox Smith, considered to be one of the greatest pure illustrators, Alice Neal, considered one of the greatest American portraitists of the 20th century as products of the first and only. Now this is when I get excited because it's magic at Moore, but this just helps to further cement my marriage to Moore, because I'm married to Moore now. You can never get away from me, because you are the first and only historically women's art and design college in the United States. But you were smart enough to know that we should make room for not only women, but the non-binary community. No matter what your pronouns may be, there is room for you here amongst the magic at Moore. Moore, give that a huge round of applause. That is something to be proud of. When I think about what was I excited about, Cherelle, is it true? Yes, it is. I'm the first woman mayor, the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia, sixth largest city in the nation, birthplace of democracy, first woman in 341 years. But when I think about standing here on today, I take a stroll through your history and think 175 years ago, Sarah Worthington Peter founded the Philadelphia School of Design for Women, initially operating from a room in her home at her own expense. What a boss she was. What a boss she was. It didn't exist. She didn't complain. She just said, I'm going to find a way to create what we know should be in existence. I'm hoping that as you move to the next phase, when you think about everything you have accomplished here at Moore, that you really feel like you were able to explore not just art, but your identity in this beautiful city of brotherly love and sisterly effectiveness and affection and so much more. But when you step into the next chapter of your life, this is what I'm hoping that my real life lived experience as a black woman who has lived at the intersection of race, gender, and quite frankly, poverty, particularly in my earlier years, but living at the intersection of race and gender my entire life, this is what I'm hoping you leave here with on today. One, that you think about that negative self-fulfilling prophecy, and whenever you hear those voices, because you will hear them. You will hear them when you try to do something and you fail. If you do what more students are supposed to do and continue to press hard and stretch yourself and move beyond your imagination, you are guaranteed to try to do something that won't work out as planned. Promise me that you will take time to review in your mind the strength and resilience that it took to meet this moment. It's like when you think about life, sometimes when we go through difficult times, we forget pain. I would argue to you that forgetting pain is not always a good thing to do. Sometimes remembering pain will serve as a tool to motivate, inspire, and encourage you to remember that you can overcome things when they seem intractable and they seem insurmountable. With all of the challenges we see taking place in this 21st century, highly global, highly technical environment, a world that is not perfect, but a world that is waiting for you and your genius to come and figure out how you're going to use what you learned to make things better. We need you to not forget about your own personal strength and resilience. Cherelle, your visual, what do you mean? I don't know how many of you have ever seen the movie The Black Panther. If you've seen The Black Panther, put your hands in the air. Let me just see so I'll know. Okay, I won't seem too crazy then if I say this. Do you remember in the beginning of the movie The Black Panther, King T'Challa seemed like he was losing the battle for the throne to M'Baku. M'Baku was super duper big, and here, you know, we thought T'Challa should have won and could have won, but it seemed like the strength of M'Baku was overpowering him. And a lady, an actress by the name of Angela Bassett, she played King T'Challa's mother. And when he's losing and everyone in the village, they're shocked because he's supposed to be the perceived victor, but he's literally losing. She shouts, as any mama bear would during the viewing, and she says, "Remember who you are. Show them who you are." And then, of course, you hear the music and the sounds, and you know he's about to like come back and be exactly who he is. That's what I'm encouraging each of you to do on today. Remember the strength and the resilience, and quite frankly, what Angela Duckworth described as the grit that it took for you to meet the moment through a global pandemic, but you're here. The second thing I want you to do while you are on your personal journey to self-discovery is I want you to remember, and this is sometimes very difficult for us, that you can't allow anyone else to throw shade on your more shine. What do you mean, graduates? You have decided to come to a place and space that is very niche. It is very special. It is very magical. I mean, one of the things that impressed me so much in the village here, I'm sure you already know, 97% of the graduates who are sitting here today, they already have their next steps, where they're going in terms of employment and or additional institutions of higher learning. And I don't know where in the nation I've seen a 97 percentile employment offering immediately after graduation. There's some people who have a good day on graduation and they celebrate it. Then the day after you're saying, now how am I going to live? Not this group right here. This is something for you to be excited about. Don't allow anyone to throw shade on your more shine. Let me hear you, got to be alive with me. Let me hear you say, don't throw shade. I'm an English teacher by profession and you did that poorly. We'll do it again. Let me hear you all say, don't throw shade on my more shine. You be excited about being who you are. The final thing is this, and this is something that I have had to deal with my entire life, especially on this journey to become the first woman mayor of the city. It was the most highly competitive and expensive mayoral primary election in the history of the city of Philadelphia. I was not just the underdog. A friend of mine said you were under the dirt. You had no money, and no one thought that someone like you would ever be standing where you are today. When I stroll back through my own life and people ask me, what is it? You talk about the village, Cherelle, and we get it. What do you think the one tool is that helped prepare you to meet this moment? I hope you embrace it as something you take on your journey. And that is, I learned very early on not to allow anyone to put me in a box. What box are you referencing? I am black and I am a woman. And this is obvious because I'm just not black, I'm chocolate, right? When I went to Harrisburg to serve as a member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, because I was an English teacher, leadership thought that they would steer me only towards social and human service committees. I was a woman, a black woman from Philadelphia, who was a certified secondary English teacher. And I said, well, thank you so very much for the recommendations, but I'm concerned about the fiscal health of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, so I want on finance, I want on appropriations, I want to be on the committees that will help to prepare me to assist our Commonwealth in becoming more economically strong. After they stared at me weird for a little while, and they understood that the resilience that Helen talked about when she came up here, that you don't give up, that you don't turn around from what it is that you're pursuing in life, they were able to get it. We did the same thing in neighborhoods. I want to encourage you to not allow anyone to define who and what it is that you should like, who you will become on your journey, and that whatever it is that you decide to do with the skill set that you have begun to master here, it will be something that you love, something that you enjoy. Because if you make sure that you love what it is that you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I'm a fixer. Yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, I'm the mayor. But at your core, what are you, Cherelle? I'm a fixer. I'm not an expert AOP. You got to know what your lane is. There are some people who are expert AOPs in government and politics, and I call them expert articulators of problems. They do a very good job explaining what problems are, identifying problems. Since I was a little girl, I've taken great pride in learning how to fix things. That's my passion. You have begun your journey on today. Remember to be your authentic self. You are enough in who you are. Don't try to be like anyone else. Use your authentic voice and communicate your beautiful being to the world as you will see it. Don't throw shade on your more shine, and never forget the magic of more. Thank you for having me today.